Crypto enthusiast, in today's video, we are going to talk about Kaspa, its recent price prediction, a couple of interesting statistics for Kaspa, as well as a couple of interesting news and of course, old coin charts. Do not forget your support is important to me. Like my video, share it, comment, and tap subscribe. And now let's talk about Kaspa itself. Kaspa is currently trading at 15 cents of a dollar and is currently experiencing a 6% L up in the last 24 hours, which is good, but not great. But we are going to get into the full chart shortly. Let's have a look at the market cap. The market cap is currently trading at 3.4 billion USD, and the 24-hour trading volume is currently sitting at 81.2 million USD. So as we can see on that CoinDeco chart, we can clearly see that Kaspa is currently experiencing that pushback towards the upside from its lows at 14 cents. So if you are like, and you picked up Kaspa at those lower price levels, you were probably on green right now. A big shout out to Saved by His Grace on Twitter. And now let's have a look at what he has to say. Kaspa has been printing the following fractal pattern with a 50% Fibonacci retracement since its inception. We are about to complete the fourth one, which means we are likely to get another massive move up within the next 2 weeks. Let's examine that.
Right.
If we are going to look at a November run for Kaspa, as we can see, once we retrace to that 0.5 retracement zone, then we see a huge push toward the upside. And let's look at another one. So as we can see here, the same thing in March, right? We saw a pullback towards the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement zone. And then we saw a pump for Kaspa. So as we can see, if we are going to experience the same thing over here, we could expect Kaspa to experience another run toward the upside. But all right, let's check this out in order to remind ourselves why Kaspa is strong. So team, our BTC, OG's potential exchange listings upgraded to 10 blocks per second, ROTA 100 BPS, smart contracts that are going to be implemented obviously sooner or later, exponential community growth, D-Night development launch, and scalability on the base layer. Now let's check this out. This is big, I believe, and I will show you why soon. New listing, you can now buy, sell, and trade Kaspa on an exchange that is called Rex. But the interesting thing is that Rex is part of Binance. And now let's examine that fact. Starting in 2018, Rex has grown to be the most trusted exchange in the Indian crypto market. It's a part of the Binance group. So the question is, could we expect a Binance listing after that few weeks or perhaps a few months? Well, I do believe this is big because that exchange belongs to the Binance group. So let's see what is going to happen in the coming weeks. And now let's check this out. Kaspa is not a company. There is no CEO. It's a classic commodity like BTC, gold, or silver. So if it comes to advertising, there is not a lot of advertising because there's obviously no team and that is going to take time, just like it took a long time with BTC. Now, perfect chart. Logarithmic growth, all-time highs reached recently, constant development process, large community, high GitHub changes, and smart contract 100 blocks per second will be implemented. And obviously the major minus at the moment is that we have listing issues, not listed on big exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, but we've just covered that well, potentially Binance in coming weeks listing. So obviously we are still early in Kaspa. And now let's have a look at some numbers for Kaspa. The current reward for Kaspa is 123. The next reward is going to be 117. And next reduction is scheduled in 26 days. And the current hash rate is currently sitting at 180 pair per second as we speak. And if we are going to look at the hash rate, as we can see here in the last 3 days, Kaspa was sitting at 161 pair per second. And in a matter of 3 days, Kaspa has grown to, well, 180 as I read it to you guys now. So obviously, if we are going to look at only these 3 days, that's nothing. But if we are going to look back to August 28th on that chart speaks for itself. That's exponential growth, and that reminds me of Bitcoin chart hash if it comes to hash rate. And now let's have a look at addresses holding over 100,000 Kaspa. As we can see here, of course, we do have dips. We have sell-offs, but as we can see here, people are accumulating Kaspa, and that obviously is signaling the belief in the project. And now let's finally have a look at the chart itself. So let's examine a daily chart. So as we can see here, that's something that we were anticipating that Kaspa, I see that pullback here below that support level. And now it looks like Kaspa is coming back. However, if we would be experiencing a little bit more retracement and more downside potential for Kaspa, the next level of support will be sitting at around 13 cents of a dollar. And the question is, am I afraid that we are going to see those prices? Not at all. So I have accumulated some Kaspa here and I have accumulated Kaspa over here. So if we are going to dip over here, I have no problem with that. I'll accumulate my Kaspa further. And now let's look at the perspective of RSI. So as we can see here, that's something that I remind you guys all the time, right? After we experience that major pump, we have consolidation if it comes to RSI here. And that's exactly the same that's happening after that recent pump forecast. But we have that consolidation and looks like we are ready to push back toward the upside. I'm not necessarily saying that we will right away because, as I'm saying, we could see a little bit more dip before we will see another pump. And if we are going to look at MACD, the same thing is brewing pretty much too. And if we are going to look here, we had this bearish crossover here, which signaled that downside price momentum. And now looks like we are on the way to seeing that bearish cross on the daily on MACD. So again, I'm not saying that we are going to see Kaspa at new all-time highs very soon, but all of these details are basically signaling that Kaspa is reaching the end of its local pullback and is gearing up for the next big move. And now let's adjust our triangle model over here. So let me adjust this line over here and draw this. Let's say support over here for Kaspa. As we can see here, we have a pretty much similar model, right? So from the ascending triangle, we are experiencing now descending triangle. Nevertheless, that doesn't change the fact that Kaspa saw a pump after that big descending triangle. So it's pretty much the same at this point, right? We could experience a breakout in the coming days or perhaps weeks. I would say probably days. So that triangle model is going to finish on the 18th. Check out Bitcoin and let's see what BTC is doing. So if it comes to a megaphone for BTC, we can clearly see over here that BTC is about to escape its megaphone pattern. And after that, BTC is going to experience that big parabola. But where are altcoins? Let's have a look. Altcoins still haven't reached this all-time high. We still haven't broken above that major resistance, well, all-time high resistance for altcoin. So we still have a little bit of time there. The reason why Kaspa is still consolidating and seeing a little bit of push towards the upside is not huge pumps, but I do believe that those huge pumps are going to come for Kaspa, especially after those listings that hopefully are going to come in weeks. Anyway, if we are going to look from the perspective of a parabola, this is where we are at the moment, right? These are the true times when most of us should be accumulating over here during this W of accumulation here in depth of the bear market. However, now you have to ask yourself a question, if it's a good time to buy for you, right? According to the Scalping Pro, a big shout out to the Scalping Pro, you could still potentially buy and then sell off at the peak. But obviously we all know that timing the peak is very, very difficult. So make sure that you have your plan in place. And if we are going to look from the perspective of this chart over here that's created by El Crypto Pro, big shout out to El Crypto Pro. Great work. As we can see here and compared to the previous cycles, we can see that once we have escaped that W of accumulation here, we had that little retest and then we had parabola. And just like right now, we've just escaped that little consolidation over here after the breakout of all-time highs or ALS. So we are just entering that parabola. That's something important because the real gains are going to be made in the coming months. Guys, we are going to stop here for now. Thanks for watching my video. Keep supporting my channel. See you in my next video.